Welcome to Hub City TV, a USM student news magazine production. We're your source to what's happening in the Pine Belt. I'm your host, Ryan Jones. In this week's show, students at one local high school learn what it takes to run a restaurant. Expiration dates on your food and medicine labels mean something. We'll explain. And it's Zoo Boo time at the Hattiesburg Zoo. But first, residents take to the polls for the second time to vote for mayor, making a first in Hattiesburg history. The cost to run 2 mayoral elections is high, but some voters fear the real cost is much more devastating than the dollar bill. Hub City TV reporter Emily DeVoe has a story.
Campaign signs once again cover the Hattiesburg area, each one promoting a different opinion.
And I feel like Dave Ware is the best person to do the job.
We believe in Johnny Dupree.
The special mayoral election set for Tuesday comes after the original election on June 4th, one that resulted in a trial questioning its validity. The search for Hattiesburg's new mayor could cost upwards of about $100,000, but some people think the real cost is a little less green and a little more black and white. Racial divisions forming between voters could leave a more permanent mark on the city than dollar bills.
I've had people to inbox me on Facebook that was maybe looking at Dave Ware to go with them, blacks, even some whites that had said, you know what, they're making it into this, so now we're going this way, we're going with Dupree because I'm black.
City Council President Kim Bradley says although it's unfortunate, it's something he's seen before.
And every time there's an issue that can't be explained, that's the card that's played, and it's so unfortunate. It happened with school board appointees. It's happened now with the election commission. There has to be accountability. It doesn't matter what color you are.
Councilwoman Deborah Delgado says the mindset isn't a card to play, but rather a misunderstanding.
On most of the issues, we're in step. But on some of them, and when it comes to those critical hot button issues, we're not. And that's because we don't have an understanding of each other.
While race doesn't fuel the election for all voters, the new mayor will face reunifying those it does.
To combat the issues of voter fraud and tampering in the original election, both the Secretary of State and Justice Department personnel supervised the special election. However, lack of a seal on the Rowan precinct box creates an uproar.
Out of 14 ballot boxes in the Hattiesburg election, one in particular is getting a lot of attention.
Rowan School Precinct.
I'd like to know if that box that came in last night is in there.
After arriving at City Hall hours after the other 13 precincts, the Rowan box was missing something important, a seal.
Mr. Canan, as you're going through that box, would you look for the seal log too this time?
No seal was found for the box, just a note in its place.
No seal for me to put on the box. We locked the box.
I don't understand how she could write a note.
The election commissioners defended the actions they took when they learned of the missing seal.
She called and said she didn't have a seal. Lily went out to the polls with her, okay? Put a lock on the box, came in and said to me when they brought them in that I have no seal. I says, document it. That's what I said then, document it.
But Rowan's missing seal wasn't the only thing causing delays in today's counting process.
Train depot, we're going to close it back up.
No marking.
No marking.
The train depot and 4 other precincts turned in unmarked ballot boxes, which goes against the guidelines poll managers were supposed to follow.
Each box, actually about 3 copies in each box, and stressed it to each poll manager to use the checklist. That was the theme of all the training.
Poll managers from the 5 precincts will come to City Hall Thursday morning to discuss their unmarked ballots. Until then, the boxes are once again locked up for another night without a mayor. For Hub City TV, I'm Emily DeVoe.
Hattiesburg finally has a new mayor. In our next story, reporter Nikki Collins sits down with both candidates.
Every vote does count.
Johnny Dupree keeps his title as mayor after Hattiesburg's first ever special election.
It's a wonderful feeling to have that many people out there knowing they support you, knowing they've been praying for you, knowing that they care about you.
High turnout at the polls ended the battle between the 2 candidates. Dupree defeated Dave Ware with 51% of the votes.
First time I ever had to run for the same position twice in the same year.
Though the votes did not tally in Ware's favor, he believes the city will move forward.
The city's not going to be defined by any one office or one campaign. the city's going to be defined by its vision for the future.
Officials spent 4 days carefully examining the absentee and affidavit ballots.
There's many instances where things have happened that are not above board and illegal, and I just think that needs to be addressed.
Outside City Hall, protesters defended their right for a fair election. There were reports of unsealed ballot boxes from the Rowan precinct. Some residents feel like this election has divided the city.
We need to just be supportive of him and lay aside all our differences so that we can move forward as a city.
Mayor Dupree is determined to bring the city back together.
This is the same city that they were proud to call Hattiesburg and proud to call me as their mayor last year. And I think they'll be proud to do the same in the coming months.
Reporting for Hub City TV, I'm Nikki Collins.
Lock it or lose it. That's the advice Hattiesburg police give residents. Reporter William Crosby tells us why.
It seems the Hattiesburg area is facing a new issue, car theft. And though recent activities of car crimes are decreasing, according to Officer Phillips of the Hattiesburg Police Department, officers are taking precautions to prevent any potential theft in the near future.
We got a pretty good bit for a while, for a little bit, and then we started picking up on everything and stepping up patrols everywhere. And that's helped knock it down a lot. Citizens becoming more aware, starting to lock their vehicles up. That's the number one thing to do, is lock your vehicle.
And that's just what happened to one Hattiesburg local as she prepared for work one afternoon. Crystal Saunders received a huge wake-up call when this incident happened to her.
I basically stopped and I said to myself, okay, no, I didn't leave my papers laying out because I would have put it back up. And I shut the door, turned around, got my cell phone out, and I called the police and notified them that my car was broken into.
Saunders asked the officer who assisted her to consider patrolling the neighborhood to prevent this problem from happening again.
You don't need to have that in a neighborhood that you feel like you let your guard down a little bit, and here it is, somebody's just blatantly breaking into your car.
And to ensure it doesn't happen to others, Saunders offers a few tips to Hattiesburg locals.
Get your phone out, call the police, take pictures on the outside, and just leave everything as it is, and make sure that you take the extra precautions that it don't happen again.
Reporting for Hub City TV, I'm William Crosby.
While the men in blue work to keep crime off the streets, it's the people in blue collars who keep crime out of the neighborhood. Reporter Emily DeVoe has a story.
A quiet neighborhood's an easy target for criminals driving by, but not with the neighborhood watch around.
It's neighbor helping neighbors, basically, and to help combat crime and help the police department.
There are only 3 registered neighborhood watches in the city of Hattiesburg, but homeowners everywhere can prevent crime in their neighborhood by looking out for one another. One of the key components of the Neighborhood Watch program is getting to know your neighbors. So when a car drives down your street, you'll know if it's a threat or not.
When there is a vehicle that's not supposed to be in that neighborhood, whether it's in the daytime or night, they kind of know.
If there's someone in their neighborhood that they don't recognize, if there's a car in their neighborhood that they don't recognize, and that car is making consistent blocks around the neighborhood, call the police department.
While neighborhood watches are a big help to the police, neighbors should leave the crime fighting to the professionals.
The first thing I ask them to do is contact the police department, that they do not try to police their neighborhood. Let the officers who's trained to do that do their jobs.
I know it seems we're supposed to help the neighbors, but the neighbor helps us. If they see a suspicious car, a suspicious person, we want them to call the police department. Therefore, we can get that criminal off the street really, really fast instead of letting them break into a vehicle or break into a home, and then we have to look for them.
Officer Michael Sumner says avoid being an easy target by hiding your belongings in the trunk of your car and deadbolting your door at home. For Hub City TV, I'm Emily DeVoe.
Hattiesburg potholes leave a dent in drivers' wallets. Our very own Nikki Collins reports.
Potholes, cracks, and broken concrete line the streets of Hattiesburg. These road conditions make driving a hassle. Driver Channing Robinson believes potholes are becoming a money pit.
Running over these potholes, I've had to take my car to the shop I don't know how many times, and it's cost me more than $400.
Robinson is aware of the potholes but can't avoid them.
I hit them on accident, and now I feel like I'm just messing my car up.
Auto mechanic Jeff Damians cashes in from drivers hitting potholes.
Excessive wear knocks it out of alignment, and if front end has any slack or wear on it, a lot of times it just tears suspension parts loose.
Automotive work could cost at least $500 depending on the make, model, and how much damage there is on the car. Damians warns drivers to look out for potholes and avoid them whenever possible.
You know, if it damages your struts, you'll know it. It'd be like driving a rocking horse or something.
This pothole stretches over 9.5 feet, making it dangerous for some residents.
Drivers should be on the lookout for potholes at all times and avoid them or slow down to reduce car damage. Reporting for Hub City TV, I'm Nikki Collins.
The government shutdown leaves a local brewery dry. We'll have the story after the break.